Yash. So we all know there's a big difference between doing Nofap but still edging versus just pure semen retention, no edging, nothing. Okay? But chill. There's nobody that can perfect like not edging. What does it mean though, edging? Edging means having sexual fantasies, trying to get hits of validation from women when we're in public, getting that dopamine hit, feeding off that female attraction and energy. It can mean looking on Instagram or looking at pictures that are non-pornographic to get that hit. Um, any little thing, man, that's bringing us, that's activating this arousal feeling and then causing the energy to go down. Okay, but it's a constant evolutionary process of subtlety. Like we don't, as long as we're a human being, as long as we're in the man's body, and if we're attracted to the opposite sex, there's gonna be some space, some play between the masculine and feminine energy. So you can't perfect this thing. It's not like, you're like I mentioned before, like you just stop eating a certain food. You can perfect that. You want to quit, drinking coffee or chewing bubble gum. You just stop it and be 100% stop forever. This isn't like that. So we need to understand that a little bit so that we can chill about it, because the mind will come in and say, the mind acts like the friend and acts like the foe, but it's the whole time the foe, really. The mind will say, yeah, man, this is going to be good for you. You need to stop edging and practice Nofap and semen retention. And then it'll create this perfectionism platform that's impossible to, the expectations that our mind will have will be impossible to fulfill, because the mind knows that'll create some stress, and then the mind knows that stress is the trigger to go and start masturbating again or edging again. See, it knows that, so you got to catch that. It's not about like I'm going to be perfect or I'm not going to do it at all. It's a work in progress. It's an evolutionary thing, and you got to understand that, and then you'll get better gains with that understanding. You'll just be chill, See, if I'm still edging, if I'm practicing Nofap and semen retention, but I'm still edging, and I did that for like more than a decade, I stopped masturbating when I was about, I stopped ejaculating. I started doing this Taoist trick that was just a dopamine addiction, but I stopped the whole PMO basically when I was in my early 20s, because see, I had more motivation. I have a certain health situation with nervous system weakness, and I found out early on that when I preserve my sexual energy, my nervous system's more strong, therefore I have less bothersome symptoms. So see, I knew from personal experience that was important and powerful, and I didn't need anybody to agree with me. So that's the thing. When you know something inside via your own personal experience, you just know, and you follow your inner sanction. This is the highest level of knowledge. This, it doesn't hurt to have a teacher or a guide to kind of help, guide you in the right direction, maybe check your intuition. Is it mind talking or is it intuition speaking, something like that? But the ultimate goal is to activate, you can say, your own inner teacher or guru, and then you basically merge with that. That takes over and starts to guide you, So point is, I knew that semen retention and the Nofap was really good for me. But the edging, I couldn't stop. I just kept doing that because I was a dopamine addict. And I realized when I was edging, the energy would start to go down. I would still lose energy. And you're much more prone to relapse too. Unless your dedication to not PMOs is super strong, then you won't do it. But it'll come out in another way. That's the whole thing. I'm gonna make a video about that, how some people, they imagine after a year of semen retention or Nofap, that they don't have any benefits. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that. But this this is about edging and the difference between edging and just practicing Nofap. But listen, if you're practicing Nofap and semen retention, man, congratulations. You're in, I don't know what top percent. Can I say you're on the elite level? Let's give the elite level to the no edgers. But if you're practicing semen retention and Nofap, you're way above average. Way above average. It may look like there's a lot of videos out, but when you consider there's 8 billion people in the world, and how many people are doing that? Let's say 4 billion guys. But see, girls, they also need to preserve their sexual energy. Otherwise, they're also dopamine addicts. So how many people are really conscious of this and working on this? So if you're one of those ones, you're way above average. I'd put you in the high 90% range anyway, you know? So, but when I'm edging, it's like there's more tendency now to have wet dreams because the energy's going down in the body, but we're not releasing it via masturbation. So therefore the body's going to release it in the wet dream because it's energy that's, I mean, it's, well, also energy, but it's fluid that the body needs. It's already basically in the collection tray in the testicles, that it made it. Once it makes it to that point, it just needs to be it needs to be released. So if we're not doing it via masturbation, the body's going to do it in our sleep. So that's one of the things when people ask me about like wet dreams and stuff. That's a big thing. And you know, this habit became so habitual in most people because I'll tell them, look, the energy's still being activated. That's why it's going down. That's why you lose it in a wet dream. So no, I'm not having any sexual thoughts or nothing. It can take a little bit to have this solid introspection to where you can really be aware of the subconscious and how you still get activated, you know? So point is, work in progress. It's an evolutionary journey. That's the whole thing. You got to realize that. It's not a one and you're done type thing. So I'm listing some of the consequences of edging, but it's not, I'm not doing that, you know, for the motivation to create shame or something. I'm doing it so that you understand, like, this takes some time, man, to evolve. It's like if you're 10 years old, you can't look 20. You got to evolve to that. This is the same situation. Some more consequences when we edge, besides the wet dream, it'll create some anxiety. Because it puts pressure on the nervous system because of all the dopamine release. You see, it creates anxiety. We're not grounded. We're a bit restless, and because it's that lust, you know, in the mind activation. So we're not chill. Just think, if you don't have any edging thoughts, but if you have them, it's okay. But I'm just saying, illustration, if you didn't have any edging thoughts at all and you weren't trying to get any dopamine hit from anything, or trying to milk this female attraction that you get when you're in public, especially if you're, you know, younger and have a bodybuilder and all that stuff, that's a trap, man. People that are collectively deemed ugly, you're lucky. You got to see the paradox of that. But when you're constantly in that mind stimulation, that's a rat race going on in your brain. And that makes your nervous system uneasy. And so then that creates feelings of restlessness and anxiety, etc. So that's another consequence to that. And it makes your nerves weak. See, when your nervous system's weaker, you're just less strong mentally. You're less strong emotionally. Your spiritual practice, it's not too efficient because you're not grounded. So see, everything works together synergistically. And don't get overwhelmed. All this stuff becomes very clear at some point. See, you can't judge yourself where you're at right now and say, oh, wow, I have such a long way to go. You don't know. This clarity can happen like overnight. And everything will be clear. So again, that's how the mind tries to trick us and make us, you know, feel like we're not doing good enough, and it creates more stress because it wants us to go get a dopamine hit. That's what the mind, it's like not our friend. You have to realize that. It's our friend if we want to buy a plane ticket online or do some simple arithmetic or something. Okay, practical level, it's cool. But when it comes to psychological, you know, analysis and stuff, the mind's not too good, and it gets us in trouble, especially when it comes to habits. The mind's like the ultimate addict, wants to get its fix. And then when you get settled, after a while, when you stop the edging, when you got some time with the semen retention and Nofap, the intuition starts to guide you. It just works it out. It just tells you like what you can do in life that helps make this habit more easy. It's like intuition you want to listen to. That's your friend. Okay? That's like the battle, the mind and the intuition. Intuition will always win, though. It's just chill. It's not fighting the mind. The mind's trying to fight the intuition. You got to realize and discern the difference between these two levels of intelligence. And you will. This is automatic and inevitable for everybody. We're going to grow and evolve. It doesn't matter really. Can I say, like, no matter how bad your habits are, you're going to come out of it at some point. It's like you're not going to stay 10 years old forever. You're going to be 20 at some point if you don't have some karmic situation that ejects you from the body before then. You see, but you're going to make it. You're going to make it to 20. It's the same with this, especially if you have a desire in your heart to be free. That just accelerates the whole evolution. So if I can leave you with any final words, don't judge yourself. Take all this that I'm sharing just as it makes you more conscious. Somehow let what I'm sharing work on you internally, and then it sorts it out. Don't try to understand all this with the mind and all that stuff. That's my wish for you. Have a good day.